everyone, it's Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead. This is the final season, episode number 19, and very interesting episode tonight. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here for our little bit of discussion, reactions, and we'll break it down a little bit. So I think I don't like to give too much information too early. I do like to thank all of you guys for being here. But the first thing that I do like to do is I like to just get the raw numbers. So the raw numbers would be, what do you guys think tonight's episode was without me trying to sway you or influence you? From a 1 to a 10, leave it in chat right now. I want to see, I just want to see what you guys thought before anybody sort of jades your opinion of tonight's episode. Let's see who can leave it first. Let's see how quick the numbers come in. I see some hype around it already. So Julia coming in at 9.3. Look, Julia and the Deacon both coming in around the same. 9.3, 9.2, Busy B 8.5, B-Dub 9.0, Nixie 8.9, Tim Lamora 8.2, Bones 8.5, Matt Musgrave 8.75, Moon 8.5, Diana C. All right, a lot of people up around 9. Not bad, not bad. I'm going to come in with tonight's episode as a 9.4, 9.4, my highest rating of the season so far. And I'm going to tell you guys why I thought it was a good episode. I'm also going to tell you a few little things that for me pulled it down just a little bit. But for the most part, I thought this was a very, very good episode. It was chock full of action. It had some good lighthearted moments. It had some great foreshadowing. So had really, really good things all the way around. So I want to start out with tonight's episode. And look, we know the flashbacks are really good. We have people on the run. So there's just this mystery all throughout of that something has to happen. All right, Pam Milton has to become that villain. There's some good Sebastian moments. There's some good, what is going on? I love the way Aaron and Jerry thought, there's some whispers out there. We need to separate the walkers from the whispers. That was really, really cool. To kind of, because I thought, okay, yes, maybe there are some other things out there. But it really is about the fall guy, right? We got to have a fall guy. And we find out that Max can't live without Eugene. Eugene can't live without Max. But we had really, I think, 4 strong relationship references. We had Elijah and Lydia. We had Max and Eugene. We had Rosita and Eugene as well. Little bit of, their bond, their history. And we had Princess and Mercer. So 4 relationships, all with some similarities, but all were really the telling story. So what I really liked about tonight's episode is the callbacks and the stories. They weren't bad. They weren't like a Morgan story. So personally, what I thought was the best transition of the night, and usually I will look at this and I will say, the stories are a little cheesy, they're a little too long. I really enjoyed the princess analogy to how she dealt with abuse and how she now sees that the Commonwealth has become that bad environment, that bad example. Right? Did that kind of, it didn't feel like, at first, I got to be honest, it felt like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go with this long, fake Walking Dead story. And then the more I heard her talk, I was like, that's a good story. That's a perfect story to segue and to really get to Mercer. So you've got Max weighing on Mercer. And then you've got Princess talking to Mercer. Well, eventually they're going to get through. So I got to think that Mercer's already got a plan. So the Princess backstory I thought was good. I loved the Eugene Daryl standoff, if that's what you want to call it. And I thought that set the stage really well. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just be brutally honest because I love to do my streams to be brutally honest. The two things that I did not like, that to me drug the episode down, was the wagon wheel getting stuck and me just assuming that wagon wheels just get stuck without me knowing what happened. And then Jerry gets hurt, just like, okay, we got to stick this in here, not going to tell anything about it, but it just, that's the way it goes, okay? And the number two thing was the dire situation that Elijah, Lydia, Aaron, and Jerry were in, and all of a sudden it's the next day and they're all dead. So it's like, it's so bad that they ran into a house, but then in no time they cleared them all up, and we got to that. So again, it's filler. It was a little too easy to get there. So, and I know I'm nitpicking. I know, but if you're going to put me into the dire moment, and I'm going to have to live in that moment, don't just let me out of the moment, right? Like I'm really feeling this whole, how's Jerry going to get up there with a bad leg? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, I guess they just got out of it. So it seemed like it was they were goners. And then it was more important to push the next part of the story and just be like, yeah, hey, there's some walkers out there that can do some crazy things, and we found one. So they were more interested in telling that story. The other thing, and this to me was just, this was the worst of tonight. Lance. There's the body, chop him up, feed my son. So I kind of get the Milton is kind of losing it frame of mind. But she's obviously not killing Lance. I don't think she left it to fate. So she's just trying to push a little psychological torture on him before she has him come back to work for her. Like, here, chop him up, feed Sebastian. Yeah, okay. That must mean A, you're not going to kill him. B, he's going to become a resource for you at some point. All right, so let me start out with all of you guys tonight because I like to give kind of my opinion to start out the show. So leave in chat right now, what was your favorite moment? It not just a feel-good moment, because I know a lot of people they're gonna say, you know, the Eugene Daryl thing, that was my favorite moment because that was kind of funny. But it doesn't have to be funny to be your favorite moment. What was your favorite moment of tonight? I also liked Aaron telling a story about him and Eric and saying, you know, you only got a small amount of time. Use the time that you have to make yourself happy. So let me see what a few of the favorite moments were tonight. But I really, really enjoyed tonight's episode. Face off the walker. So, favorite moment from tonight. Walker picking up the rock, Eugene and Rosita moment. Doorknob, you know that we've got walkers that can do some things now. Madison says Rosita and Eugene's goodbye scene. And then Rosita getting kidnapped at the end. Rosita, Eugene. And I got to assume is that more, it happened fast. Is that more of Lance's bargaining tool now? Is it more of Lance's people? opening flashback scenes. Very old school moment. I know Julia said earlier, the church. So, is it kind of safe to say we've got Pamela's group, Lance's group, and then kind of our group? So, if Lance's group takes Rosita, is it Lance has a little bit of leverage, and Lance is going to use that leverage with Pamela, or is Pamela going to, right now it seems like there's a lot of leverage. So, how many people were here last week? Give me a 999 if you guys were here last week, listen to the stream. All right. Now, my question is, how many people remember the bold prediction that we said that it looks like the strategy could be to take the kids? You guys remember that? Did you guys catch that in the sneak peek for next week? That it looks like that could be the basis of the spinoffs. So if they're kidnapping, literally, that to me looks like a nice long-term setup for the Negan-Maggie spinoff. So there's a few bold predictions I threw out there. Now look, we've got a lot of time left, but it does seem like that could be one of the real stories here, because I just don't know what could possibly make Negan and Maggie become partners. I mean, they got to have an interest. Everybody kind of at this point, I won't say I was frustrated with last week's episode, but I understood it. It was all really us getting to know the characters again. So you saw it again tonight. I thought we finished most of it last night, but then you got Ezekiel, right? You got Princess going to Ezekiel saying, hey, look, come on, let's go. Me, you, Miko, Eugene, we can kind of get our crew together. And Zeke's like, nope, I'm staying. If there's going to be an uprising or something here, I'm staying. Now, we don't know how bad it's going to get. We don't know how bad it's going to get with Eugene. Maybe Eugene could be on the chopping block. We don't know that. So, let me ask you this. King Jerry, we heard this. Queen Nabila. Are Jerry's little ones going to be in that group that got taken? So is that just a fantasy of Jerry thinking like, hey, we can live here, we can have our own kingdom, but maybe not? And is it possible that these communities, like, first of all, why are they taking the kids? Number two, where are they taking the kids? And number three, are they taking the kids for CRM or for another group? We already know that Rick got exchanged. So maybe there's a little bit more to that, and that's how these miniseries get brought in. All right, so let me throw this back at you guys. We kind of got everybody's best moment tonight, things that you guys enjoyed. Let's be a little critical for a moment. We can be. We're fans. What was the moment that you maybe didn't like or could have done without or maybe needed a little bit more development? And again, there wasn't much. There was some good stuff tonight. The Daryl Eugene scene was good. The Kingdom scene I thought was good. The Eric backstory was good. But Lance has some connections. And I think Lance is the bridge between the Commonwealth and CRM. Yeah, I agree with that too, Amy. But the thing is, if Lance was meaningless, he wouldn't still be alive. So he's meaningful to the plot. Eugene turned himself in. Well, Animal, the thing with that is, to be perfectly honest, I think Eugene had to turn himself in. Because I just don't see these people that have come this far for this many people. Here's what they've shown us the last 2 weeks. You're either going to say your life is the Commonwealth, and these relationships have sort of, they've run their course. Or you're going to do anything and everything for that relationship. There is no world at this point where Max can do one thing without Eugene and Eugene can do another thing without Max. Here's what I mean by that. If Eugene was right. So exactly what he said, I could not have written it any more perfect. What he said, his line there about, if I leave, I'm basically going to become the old person that I am. So he had to do it. So Kel says Mercer will save Eugene. I agree with that too. I think that Mercer, between what he heard from Max, what he heard from Princess, and Eugene turning himself in and saying, I acted on my own, now Mercer knows, like, this is a good guy. But I got to tell you, it hit below the belt when Max said to Mercer, like, that their dad would be ashamed of him. Because Mercer is really about, look, he bucks the system a little bit with his sister, but he's pretty much a straight, narrow military guy. There's a few little things that he'll do, but he doesn't get too far away. But that hit home. He knows that he's got to do the right thing. So how many of y'all, like me, thought that the walker that picked up the rock was definitely a whisper? It was like, there's a few more. I was hoping. I was like, yes, there's a few more out there. Just a few. So Madison says, more of the weird walkers felt they could have done more with the building. Yeah, I did like that setting, though. Kind of an old, abandoned, Renaissance type of environment. So Bonnie says, Pamela going into Lance's pocket for the coin, using it as Lance does, kind of shows She knows a lot. Yeah, I mean, she knows who he is, and she set him up to a certain degree. So she knows what he does. I think that is a great point. So to Bonnie's point, we think that, well, here's the way the story was set up. It was, well, if Sebastian is not this bad guy, then Lance must be out there doing the stuff. Isn't that kind of what Carol and Miko said to her? Like, I will, help you, but Lance is the bad guy. Well, Pamela reaching in and finding that coin basically says, I know what he does. He's like Simon. I know he sets people up. I know he kills people. So she's owned to his style. She's just tolerated it because he gets the job done. It's like Daemon Targaryen. When he was the head of the Watch, they did some shady things. But the king kind of looked the other way because it kept everybody else in line. So she knew what was happening. We've seen some interactions between them. But great detail, great insight. The thing with tonight's episode, this is what I really liked. I think they did perfectly. Sometimes The Walking Dead has a penchant to give you too many characters or too many stories. And it's either choppy or the story goes too long. So tonight we saw just enough of Lydia and Elijah. We saw just enough of Eugene. Just enough of the princess to tell the story really, really well. And this is the first time, from my standpoint, my point of view, that I've thought they've told the story almost perfectly. And to me, that means that we don't have to get bogged down with too much backstory the next few weeks. We're going to get action and more action and more action. So as it winds down, now, there's a couple different ways. And I'm just going to ask you yes or no to these questions. I'm going to give you a series of questions. We think that at some point, Max will take over the Commonwealth, that Pamela's gone. Yes or no? I know I've already heard that Mercer may free Eugene. Does Eugene survive? I'm not just talking about freeing. Does Eugene have to leave in order for Max to be the leader in the Commonwealth? Does Eugene survive, yes or no? And if he survives, in what capacity does he survive? See, I'm a little afraid for Eugene. I'm a little afraid for Eugene, but I don't know that at this point, with this few episodes remaining, if if the audience could take a Eugene death. If we were coming back next season, maybe. I don't know if there's a benefit to killing Eugene at this point in the game. In fact, I'm starting to think that very few main characters are going to die. Ezekiel scares me. Ezekiel has... Well, let me ask you guys this question. If you had to pick right now from Ezekiel, Father G, or Eugene, which one of those three do you think is most likely to die? Just out of those three. Zeke, Father G, or Eugene? And I've kind of flip-flopped on this a little bit. See, I think Zeke. I think Zeke because they are setting him up where he's detaching himself from everybody else. So it just seems like, nah, because look, Carol and Daryl were supposed to do the spinoff. Now, I don't think they've changed the story because it was pretty much written. So, I think Carol will go in a different direction. But I do think he's got another bold move in him. So just a little food for thought. I am actually going to go in and say my bold prediction for this week is that King Ezekiel will go on to live with Shiva and become the zookeeper in the sky. I just don't think there's anything left for him in the Commonwealth. So I've got kind of two bold predictions working right now. I think Ezekiel is a major death this season. The kids being kidnapped, I think we're on the right track with that. Not sure about the Negan situation yet. But I don't think... So here's what I think, okay? All right, I'm going to take this a step further. All right, give me a 999 right now if you want my bold prediction before we wind down. I'm going to give you guys my super bold prediction of the way this is going to happen. I got it. Just kind of, sometimes these moments just click. I just get them. But there was a little bit of area I could not piece together, and now I got it. Okay? It makes sense. I always got to wait till it makes sense to give you guys the bold prediction. All right, here it is, everybody. So I predicted that the Commonwealth, or in some sort of partnership or whatever, they kidnapped the kids. They like taking the kids. I've already went on record with saying that, so we're in the book for that. Bold prediction number 2 was Ezekiel dies. Here is bold prediction number 3, and I was on the fence with this. Annie lives. Negan becomes a father. They do not take Negan's baby. But they take baby Herschel. And Negan will partner with Maggie. Because number 1, they want to get Herschel back, but number 2, the driving force behind Negan leaving Annie and his child is because he fears in the future that they could come back and take his as well. So his justification for leaving. See, I needed justification for Negan. I don't think we're going to put him through the heartache and put him through the emotional situation of Annie dying or the baby being taken. So what I think is he gets that moment. We get to experience him being a father, but as a protective father, he is going to say, it is my right to help stop this from happening so they don't keep coming back and taking these kids and taking these kids and taking these kids. Plus, it really gets him in the good graces of Maggie because now he is helping. He is doing what he needs. No, not just Herschel. Several of the kids. Could be Gracie as well. Could be baby Coco as well. But what would make Negan and Maggie have a spinoff where Negan is going to be of a sane frame of mind? If Annie dies or his baby dies, there's no way emotionally he could do that. So he's got to be in a place where he has a plan, he's got a method, he can be himself. You know what? I am going to hold the Judith prediction. I'm not giving you guys that. I already gave you a bold prediction. I can't give you everything in 1 week. If you guys want the next prediction, you got to come back here next Sunday night, 10:15. We'll talk about 30 minutes. We like to keep this around 30 minutes. It's going to be a great episode next week. So do me a favor, everybody. Give me a 999. I'm not going to ask you for new scores because I think everybody scored this episode really, really high. Most people are up around 9. We all liked it. We all thought it was a blast. And I will give you another bold prediction next Sunday night. We'll add one every single night. Give me a 999. Let me give some shout outs to all of our people stayed up late to watch this. Love hanging out with you guys. Love talking about The Walking Dead. And don't worry, we got some amazing stuff in store for you guys within the next month. Our very own Play Dead Live portal. You're going to be able to go in. You're going to be able to register. You're going to be able to play some games with us. There'll be some Walking Dead elements to it, but there'll also be some Play Dead Live. So we are building a complete website, a complete portal where we can continue to keep the group together. So when you guys come in and say, hey, when do you guys stream? We're going to say, sign up. Our Play Dead Live portal. Check it out. Hang out with us a little bit, and you'll see what that's all about. But more to come on that within the next few weeks, so hold tight, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to give a big shout-out to Matt Musgrave. Good to see you, Matt. Julia, also, it's okay. Lola, you don't have to, you can turn down the volume. We get excited here. Harold Evans, thanks for being here. Busy B, Tim Lamora, Amy Bones Ferrero, Wilani, thank you so much for being here. Kel, B-Dub, Liz Burnett, Valar, Diana C., Moonshot in the house, Animal, Uncle Creepy, absolutely a great episode. Who else we got here? All right, last call. Good stuff. And as a reminder to everybody, I do get excited. I love The Walking Dead, and I do scream into the mic. The one thing I would say, for your own personal safety, it might be better to turn down the volume before you take the time to type something in chat that everybody would read. Just think before you jump. Life advice for everybody. Have a great night, everybody. I enjoyed being here, and we will see you all tomorrow night for some Play Dead Live, or we will see you next Sunday night where we will scream even more bold predictions. You guys have a great night. Thanks for all you do. Talk to you all soon. Peace.